Hello, my name is Toby and I am a science tutor working in partnership with Rise Smart. Today we're going to be looking at how can someone prepare for Oxbridge interviews. And in order to do this, we're going to look at what Oxbridge admissions tutors are looking for and then see how we can prepare for each of these components. So the first thing that an Oxbridge interview admissions tutor is going to look for is going to be a strong foundational subject knowledge of the syllabus, basically the school syllabus, for the given subject that someone is applying for. So is that bedrock watertight? The next point they're going to be looking at is they're going to verify whether the candidate is self-motivated to research around the topic. So this will be talking about things like in the personal statement. You know, has that person actually read those books? Are they actually interested in those topics, or are they just saying it to sound impressive? So they're going to be looking to sort of verify these, sort of probe them, and see do they actually have the sort of the depth of knowledge that they say they do in the personal statement. The third point is that they're going to be looking at how does the person think? Are they teachable? Do they have a sort of logical mind that will fit in with and be malleable according to the teaching methods? So this is going to be things like first principles thinking and using like logic to extrapolate from a foundational knowledge base with little steps to basically be able to draw conclusions or work things out about topics you might not know using what you know. So it's not just about knowing things, it's about how can you use what you know to work out using logic things that you might not yet know, or at least make hypotheses. This is more for the science side of things. And the final thing is enthusiasm. So of course not everyone is naturally super enthusiastic, so this is more like a bonus, I suppose, and enthusiasm needs to be backed up by the goods of the sort of ability as well, of course. So, but if someone is very enthusiastic and they come across well in an interview, this is a bonus as well, essentially. So now let's look at how we can, and how maybe a tutor or a mentor can help support each of these four categories. So category number one was the foundational knowledge. So this is essentially all about mastery of the syllabus. So not all parts of the syllabus are going to necessarily make sense that well to a student, and tutors can be there to give support and maybe explain things in ways that are different to how they were explained at school, and therefore give the candidate another perspective which can help them. Point number two is the personal statement. So this basically comes down to, first of all, identifying areas that one can look into in more detail, and then looking into them in more detail. So I tend to recommend looking at, say, finding 3 topics that you're interested in. These can either be from the syllabus or outside syllabus, maybe you came across them in your spare time, and looking into some books you can get and buying one book of each of the topics, reading it, and that will give you a flavour as to is that a topic that actually isn't more interesting to you or not. And then if it is interesting, you can read another book about it, and if not, you don't have to. I, for example, read a book which I found not that interesting, and I therefore knew that topic was not actually something that was something I'd explore further, and I spent my time looking elsewhere. When reading the books as well, if there are any particularly interesting points, do keep a note of those points. So don't read them like you would read a fiction book where it just sort of washes over you and you enjoy the story. The points that you read that you find interesting, you might want to include in your personal statement, and therefore you want to have a sort of list of areas that are of interest that you can refer to if you, which can also help as a revision tool. So you're essentially making a sort of crib list of cool things you found out about all your books, and then that's going to make it much faster, first of all, in writing a personal statement, and also coming to revise around the topic in preparation for your interview if you hopefully get offered one. So that's that. The third point is actually one other thing with the second point is of course it's not just about research as well. There are other things that people can do. For example, they can do relevant work experiences, sort of placements, and things like that, which can also show self-motivated ability to explore further than just learning, the syllabus. Point number 3, that idea of how does one think. It can be addressed best by practicing the process of the interview. This does not at all mean scripting. This will be if someone scripts, then it will be very transparent and the script will be unusable because you don't know what they're going to ask. Instead, it's getting someone used to being in that state of, first of all, discussing an academic subject rather than writing it down, which isn't always what people do and are used to, and sometimes people can freeze up. But also, in the syllabus, people are taught much more that there is a right answer, say a 3-mark answer. If you have 3 marks, great, you got the answer. If you don't have them, you don't know the answer. Whereas actually, with kind of open-ended or questions that are about reaching beyond your knowledge, it's much more about sometimes hypothesizing, suggestions, sensible suggestions, and explaining how you think. So this is where the practice process can be really, really useful. Just getting used to the idea of being in that sort of limbo space where you know something about the subject, yet you don't know the answer, and you can give suggestions. So, for example, I once got asked a question about why hasn't nature evolved a wheel? Why don't animals have wheels? And now at that point I didn't know the answer, but you can suggest possibilities, and there are many possibilities, and in fact many contributing factors. So another point there is, don't just say one answer and stop. If you have many things to say, keep postulating potential ideas, because you can potentially show many different thought processes and areas of knowledge. Even if you don't even end up with the right answer, you could hypothesize 8 suggestions. None of them are correct, but you've shown that you know 8 relevant things about that subject, which you're able to bring to the table when questioned about it. So this comes from just, practicing. So you need to have that ownership of the knowledge for it all to be there on the tip of your brain, but also practicing being in that discussive state. And the final thing is enthusiasm, and this comes from, I think, obviously, as I say, everyone has natural variation. However, choosing a topic that you are genuinely interested in and not just one that you think has great potential in the very long term, will give someone an edge here, because if someone's very interested in a subject, they are much more likely to pay attention more, retain it better, be motivated to work harder at it, and also the enthusiasm. Humans can't help but convey if there's something that they're interested in. That enthusiasm to another person, as it is, the interviewers are not robots, they are other human beings, and they will respond according to how people are presenting the information.